What is our responsibility as a community to be able to carry on some of the cultural understandings and traditions, but also our role that we played um, in Hawaii?
I am a Yonsei, and I grew up in the town of Hilo. And a lot of what I learned was just that plantation country lifestyle.
I had a unique upbringing because I was primarily raised by my grandparents who are Sansei. And so I just feel really lucky to have even met them and just to be in their presence and hear their stories over the years.
The most impressive things that I learned from both the Issei and the Nisei were two things. One is courage, and the other is hard work.
Core memory growing up was my paternal grandmother would always take us to Obon Festival. She was one of those women that went around the island and kind of tried to go to as many Obon as she could. And she was always in the center part of the ring teaching people how to dance.
My grandpa grew up on the plantation in Wailua, so he would often tell us stories about plantation life and what it was like growing up around people who were not Japanese.
I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with one of my mentors, Senator Nadao Yoshinaga, commonly known as Najo. Senator Yoshinaga was a Nisei. He fought in World War II, was a member of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. And he would tell me about his time in the state legislature. And he talked about all the visions and the big ideas that he and his generation had when they were in the Senate.
So I think that the Yonsei generation is in an interesting spot. My main goal, and I think it's the goal of a lot of Yonsei, is now to start getting things to the next gen, our nieces, nephews, kids, the young ones, the students, and trying to get them interested in the things that our grandparents, the Nisei, got us interested in, and trying to continue that forward.
The Gosei, I think we are kind of open and interested in asking questions and learning about our family history. And I think that's really important, especially as the Sansei grow older. And, they're an aging generation. And I think it's important for us to preserve these stories.
I think some would kind of characterize our generation as being, losing touch with our culture, as well as not giving back as much as the Issei and Nisei did. And that is all part of, I think, the historical evolution of being an evolving immigrant community.
I think it's important to try and carry on some of the values and some of the history that makes up our community here in Hawaii. But I also think it's important to look toward the future and see how those things can mesh in a modern society.
And so I think it's kind of our duty as fifth generation Japanese Americans to make sure these stories aren't lost. We can definitely pass the knowledge and stories we've heard to our kids and hope that they pass it on to their kids, and it just continues to be passed down through the generations.
As beneficiaries of not only the state, but beneficiaries from the Issei and the Nisei, that we take greater responsibility, not only as Sansei, who now have the means and the political power to do so, but for the fourth and fifth and sixth generation as well, is to have that kind of social responsibility to make our community a better place for all.